The lonely street glowed under the fading dusk as a tired man walked home, his steps heavy with the day's burden. Behind him, soft footsteps echoed, almost lost in the urban hum. He glanced back to see a stray dog, its fur matted and dirty, keeping a careful distance. The man, wary, quickened his pace, trying to leave the silent shadow behind. But the dog matched his speed, a persistent, quiet follower in the twilight. Suddenly, the sky opened up, and cold rain began to fall. Streetlights flickered to life, casting long, wavering shadows. The dog shivered, its thin body offering little protection from the downpour. A sigh escaped the man's lips, a mix of pity and resignation, but he kept walking. He noticed the dog was limping, a slight hesitation in its gait that pulled at something deep inside him. A wave of sadness washed over him, stirring memories of a loss that had hollowed out his life, leaving his home feeling cavernously empty and quiet. They reached a busy crossing. Cars rushed past, their headlights cutting through the rain. The dog stopped, uncertain, trapped by the river of traffic. Without thinking, the man paused. He turned and gave a small, almost imperceptible gesture, a silent invitation. The dog, understanding, navigated the crossing carefully and joined him on the other side. They arrived at his apartment building, and the click of the unlocking door sounded loud in the damp air. The man expected the dog to finally turn away, its strange journey with him over, but it didn't. It sat patiently outside, the rain soaking its fur, its gaze fixed on the door. The man hesitated, caught in the doorway between the cold outside and the warmth within. He stepped inside, but something made him look back. The dog was still there, a picture of unwavering loyalty. With another sigh, this one softer, he left the door slightly ajar. After a moment, the dog slowly, cautiously, walked inside. The warmth of the small apartment enveloped it. It curled up near the entrance, a small, damp ball on the floor. The man gently placed a bowl of water down, and the dog drank as if it hadn't seen water in days. A little food followed, which it ate gratefully, its eyes constantly flicking up to watch the man, a question in their depths. The night passed in a quiet stillness, a shared silence between two lonely beings. Morning light streamed through the window, revealing the story etched onto the dog's body. Scars crisscrossed its fur, and a torn, faded collar hung loosely from its neck. A small tarnished name tag swung from it. The man leaned in closer, his voice a soft whisper as he read the name engraved on it. A jolt, like lightning, shot through him. A memory, long buried, resurfaced with stunning clarity. A young boy laughing on this very street. The same boy, walking this very dog, his face bright with joy. Every morning the boy would wave to him from his window across the way. Then one day the waving stopped. An accident, a tragedy that had sent a shockwave through the neighborhood, had taken the boy. And this dog, his loyal companion, had waited. It had waited on that street corner for days, which turned into weeks, for a master who would never return. It had followed familiar paths, tracing the ghost of a routine, a memory of a life that was no more. The realization hit the man with the force of a physical blow. The dog wasn't just following him, it was following a memory, a scent, a feeling of home that clung to this street. He knelt slowly, his movements stiff, as silent tears began to fall. His hand, trembling, rested on the dog's head. The dog didn't flinch. Instead, it pressed closer, a silent offering of comfort. His tear-filled gaze drifted across the room and landed on a photo frame on a shelf. It showed his own late son, his smile radiant, his arm draped around a happy, healthy dog. The same dog. His breath caught in his throat. It couldn't be, but it was. The dog, sensing the shift, looked at the photo, then around the room, a glimmer of recognition in its eyes. Its tail gave a weak, tentative wag. The truth settled into the spaces of the quiet room, heavy and profound. This dog wasn't a stray. It hadn't been lost. It had been trying to come home. The man across the street, the boy's father, had moved away after the accident, unable to bear the memories. He'd left the dog with a relative, but it must have escaped, driven by an instinct too powerful to contain. It had journeyed back to the only home it had ever known, and in its grief and confusion, it had found the man who shared its loss. An overwhelming grief, sharp and fresh, filled the room, but this time, it was different. It wasn't isolating. It was a bridge. The pain morphed into a powerful connection, a shared history of love and loss. They sat there together, man and dog, wrapped in a silence that spoke volumes. The days that followed passed gently. Their walks returned to the same street, but now they walked together. Neighbors, who had watched the man's solitary walks for so long, started to notice the change. They saw the reunion, the mending of two broken hearts. The dog grew stronger, its limp fading, its coat regaining its shine. And the man began to smile again. The house, once a silent tomb of memories, started to feel alive. The quiet patter of paws on the floorboards, the soft sigh of the dog sleeping beside his bed, these were the sounds of life returning. The nightmares that had plagued him began to fade, replaced by a quiet peace. Love, in its most unexpected form, was filling the empty spaces. Their broken bond was healing, their shared loss becoming a source of shared strength. The dog, now healthy and content, would guard the door faithfully, as if protecting the new life they had built. Sometimes, Late at night, the man would whisper a thank you into its soft fur, his gratitude immeasurable. The memories of his son were still there, but they no longer cut so deep. They were softened, held in the warm, living presence of this loyal friend. The dog had found what it was seeking. Home was never just a place, it was a person. Its incredible loyalty had outlived loss, and in its heartbreak, it had led them both back home. Thank you for watching.